All right, welcome to QuackerYaps. This will be, I guess, a sort of pilot episode before I totally figure out what all this channel is going to be. And seeing as how it's the first video, I'm not going to be doing too much editing on this here, really no cuts. I'm going to try and do all this in one take because I'm quite a bit lazy if I'm being honest. But I guess I should explain what exactly it is this channel is or going to be, or what I want to do, or really any sort of that. So the first part really is just saying whatever's on my mind, having a community to, I guess, talk really about anything, whether go from, philosophical stuff, random internet and things, video games, anything of the such, wide range of topics. But quite frankly, I'm willing to talk about just about anything. Go into arguments, debates, any sort of thing. If I gotta get my flashcards ready on my Quizlet flashcards ready, study from there. Give me like 5 minutes and I'll be good. But another thing too is, for me, I've always kind of enjoyed, just listening to people talk on YouTube. I don't really know why, but just any sort of, just YouTuber just speaking or reacting or really anything like that. Even if they just sit in front of a camera, they're just talking about really just whatever. I've always found that super interesting. It's always been something that I've wanted to do. Just have a nice little community, just really just talk about whatever, and then not no AI voice as much as I'm not against AI, really. Just, it's kind of like asking it to draw like a nice art piece. Like, sure, it can draw a nice art piece, but it isn't going to be, there's always something missing with AI art. It's like, some people say it's the soul, some people say, whatever, but it's nice when you hear an actual person talking and not some AI script. I don't know about anyone else out there, but it's just feels kind of weird. Some just feel off about that. And another thing too is my speaking. No one really knows who I am, but getting better with my speaking, and hopefully I'll be able to use better words, like more fancy words, I guess is what we're going to call them. And just getting better at putting my words into a more understandable way, and being able to get a bigger grasp of what I'm saying. And hopefully that's something I'll be able to just heavily, improve on. Maybe by the next video, maybe by the next 10, maybe not for another like 400, never really do know. And also, who knows, maybe someone will find me relatable. I don't know if that will happen, but that would be something super cool that happens. Or someone, not even entirely, just like maybe like a little thing. Just like I'm talking about something and someone, shares the same viewpoints as I do. I think that would be way cool. And yeah, to be honest, I'm not really sure what I'll talk about, to be honest, seeing as how this is just going to be the groundwork of the whole channel and everything. And to be honest, I would really like some views on, because, there's so many different things to talk about. Like, there's never an end to what you can talk about. You could talk about, I could do like some sort of tier list, sort of reaction sort of deal, something like that. Who knows, maybe just like fitness, maybe. I don't know. Really anything I'm more than willing to talk about, especially if I got to play a little devil's advocate. I don't know about you guys, but playing devil's advocate has always been something that I've personally always enjoyed doing. It does not matter what the topic is, what it's about, if I know anything about the topic. Like politics, this made me get a little weird, but to be honest, I'm not much for a political view. My political views, to be honest, are just going to be the complete opposite of whoever else I'm arguing with, like what their point of view is. Because, I've just always found it more fun. It's honestly a lot more difficult than I would first expect. Because you gotta, especially like certain topics, like both sides are typically like they have really good points, and trying to balance between those. And if someone uses the point, it's gonna be kind of hard to understand. I'll get better at this part. But you gotta defend your own arguments for the other side, and vice versa. Like if you say, oh well, I don't know, you go like caffeine is bad, and then people are saying, well, it's good because it keeps you awake. But yeah, but are you really awake? And it's a whole thing with that. And honestly, it's such a hard thing to do, but it's also kind of intriguing because you always have to play both sides, and so it's also a good thing because I'm not tying my whole identity to those either. I always try and just be my own person and not make some sort of viewpoint who I am. Like it's good to have central beliefs, in my opinion anyway, but to fully tie your identity to something that could change in like the next couple of years, like if you may change your mind about certain things, so if you've stuck your whole identity to that one thing, then it's not who you are, but you may feel like you're obligated to still believe in that sort of, I guess, like mold, that kind of person that you were, that you built, and that you put so much time and effort and did all this research and stuff like that, really. And that's just one thing. Kind of got off track there, but hopefully that's a good thing. Hopefully someone was entertained by that. But honestly, just talking about whatever, feel, just really sort of any topic. Another thing too is just like speaking. A little personal thing about me. I got out of school a few years back, and ever since then I feel like using my brain and using, I guess, like big words. That sounds really dumb, but it's become kind of a harder thing. Like it takes a lot more for me to like think, and I really want to get back, and I guess like thinking hard, because I'm just kind of like coasting through instead of deeply analyzing exactly what it is that I'm saying. And one thing I hope to improve, I haven't gotten to it quite yet, but the editing, I have no clue what I'm going to do for that. Hopefully I make something cool with that. Or who knows, maybe I'll just like screen share everything and just like, I don't know, I'll play Block Blast or something on there. But that'll about wrap it up for this first video. If you guys have any sort of suggestions on what it is I should post, what it is I should edit, I guess that's mainly up to me. But any topics to discuss, I can go pretty in depth with just about anything. Oh, sorry about that. And then, but yeah, if you guys have any sort of topics or anything that you think would be cool to hear about, just from like a random person's sort of view, sounds like some fun I could do. But yeah, drop some comments below if you guys feel like it. Maybe like and subscribe. Help me out with this first pilot episode. But, alright. Peace out.